Hello and welcome to 4 Reasons Your 401k is Not Enough for Retirement. I'm not saying that you don't have enough money for retirement. What I'm saying is simply that your 401k is not the right vehicle for retirement. It wasn't meant for that. And you're going to discover that in this webinar that we're getting ready to go through, that your 401k was not meant to distribute income, because your 401k has enemies. And we're going to talk about the four enemies. There's more, but 4 is what we're going to focus in on. And we're going to talk about taxes. We're going to talk about fees. We're going to talk about lack of liquidity. And we're also going to talk about market risk. So those are some of the enemies that your 401k has. You see, myself, Carlos Millsap, and my partner, Brad Stewart, we're Spartex retirement team. What we do is we help people preserve their retirement, because you worked and you've accumulated that money throughout the years. You don't want that money to disappear while you're in retirement, where you have to go back to work. We've seen many people do that before. So we're going to help you avoid that. So we want to make sure that as you go through this webinar, that you have pen and paper handy so that you can take notes and also jot down some questions that you may have once this webinar is over with, because you may have additional questions, and we want to be able to help you answer those questions. And if you watch this video all the way through, at the end there is a surprise for you. That's right, we're going to provide you with a free book, because we feel that if we can put more resources in your hands to help you map out your retirement, it assures the fact that you won't run out of money. And also, we're also going to offer you a free strategy session. You'll have an opportunity to sign up for that as well. Well, anyway, we want to thank you for registering for this webinar, and we look forward to seeing you on the inside. Well, hello and welcome inside the webinar. We're going to be talking about 4 reasons your 401k is not enough for retirement. And we're glad that you made the decision to join us today, and we hope that you get a lot of information, because we want to make sure that we help you become equipped for retirement, because it's important for your money to last forever. So now, when you're ready to retire, you'll find that some experts will tell you to take 4% per year from your 401k as income. Now, as people are starting to retire now, this was advice that was given 20, 30 years ago when the 401k was first designed. However, they're finding now, as people begin to retire, that there's some factors that were not taken into consideration, and that as people try to retire, because you have these 4 enemies, that 4% per year as far as income is concerned, and your money actually being in the 401k, is not enough. That 4% is barely going to cover your essentials, depending upon how much money that you have. So you have to ask yourself this question: are you sure the money I have will last in 401k during retirement? And see, I'm saying specifically in 401k because that is just one vehicle in which you can house your money into as you retire. There's some safer options, and we're going to get into that in more detail, but I just wanted to make sure that I cover some of the details about your 401k and some of the problems that you have if you were to keep your money in the 401k during retirement period. So now, did you know that your 401k has 4 big enemies you must contend with during retirement? Now, these are just the 4 that I'm going to talk about, because I feel that these are the biggest ones, and we're going to get into that in a minute. But there are, unfortunately, the 401k does have some drawbacks. It was a good vehicle, but it does have some drawbacks. So let's talk about the three phases of your money. The first phase is accumulation. So just so that we're clear on this, is that remember there was a time when people used to receive pensions. They would get pension and then they would get Social Security. Remember that? Okay. Now, they would get pensions and they would get Social Security. Ted Bennett thought he would develop the third leg of that, which is a 401k, or the qualified plan, that will give people some additional money that they can have for retirement. It would actually kind of force them to actually save during retirement. So he came up with the 401k. So the 401k was never designed to replace the pension. It was never designed to be a retirement plan. It was never designed. It was only designed to do accumulation. Okay. The problem with it is that even though with the accumulation you have a problem that the money is in the market, so there's a problem there. Now, the next phase of money is distribution. Now, the thing about distribution is that the 401k is not designed to distribute, because once you get to the point where you're now starting to get distributions from your 401k, you are no longer contributing to your 401k. Now, the whole time while you're accumulating, money was just going into your 401k. Money was going in, but sometimes money was going out because of fees and because of the stock market losses. We understand that. During distribution phase, there's no more contributions going on. There's no more accumulating going on. So therefore, that money can go much faster than you anticipated. And a lot of people are starting to find that now. Matter of fact, you in fact know people that have told you that. So this is nothing that's new to you. So the third phase is preservation. Okay, that's what we do. Myself and Brad, my partner, we both are specialists in helping you preserve your money, because we want that money to be able to last you your entire retirement. There was a time when people weren't afraid of outliving their money, but now, because of good health care and because of people taking care of themselves, because of people are exercising more, and because of just the knowledge base that we have now, people are living longer. So now they have a fear of outliving their money. I have a friend that's 93 years old, has 1.75 in liquid cash, and she's still afraid of outliving her money, because she realized that all it takes is one medical catastrophe and her money's gone. So preservation is a big deal, folks. So enemy number one is taxes. Okay, it's taxes. But let me go back and just say something real quick. I want to make sure that we have an understanding about this. See, the 401k to me, was a good plan. It was a good opportunity for people to put their money into, but because of pre-tax basis, you can actually take your money and you can set it aside and not have that money be taxed. Sounds good, right? It does. However, I do want to say this, that when they tell you that you can pay something later, we always associate time with money. The more time that elapses, the more it's going to cost you. So even though you're putting off paying taxes now, you're going to pay more taxes later, because as you're earning that money, consider that money to be the seed. And as that money grows, now it blossoms into your retirement. Now that's the harvest. So now you have a bigger pile of money that you're paying taxes on, and you're also paying fees on, and you've been paying fees on all the time while you're accumulating. It sounded good when the HR called you in and said, "Hey, look, you got a 401k plan." But then, and now if you just take a look back,
unfortunately, it was kind of a trick. And even Ted Benner would say that he wished he would have designed it differently. And Ted Benner is the creator of the 401k. So enough of that rant there. So let's talk about taxes, okay? See, taxes when it comes to your 401k is also an issue, okay? Granted, the 401ks are tax deferred and they grow without accruing taxes, but once you retire and you start making all these withdrawals from your 401k, the distributions are added to your yearly income, and they'll be taxed at your current income tax rate. Now, granted, most people, when they started thinking about this idea of putting their money in their 401k, they believe that once they retire, that they're going to be in a lower tax bracket. But that's not certain. That's not necessarily going to be the truth. Now, and then the other part of it is this. If I were to ask you in the future, will taxes be higher or lower? More than likely you're going to say higher. So why do you think your tax bracket may change? I'm not saying you personally, but I'm just saying people in general. More than likely your taxes are going to change. Now, David S. Hunter, who is a certified financial planner and president of Horizons Wealth Management in North Carolina, he says, we tell our clients to plan on 30% of their 401k going away is going to end up in Uncle Sam's hands. So don't get attached to 100% of that value being yours. Okay? See that right now that 401k is an asset, but then when you get ready to turn it into income, then there's taxes that's involved that begins to chew away at it. That's a problem. Now, Margarita Ching, who's also a CFP and Chief Executive Officer of Blue Ocean Global Wealth in Maryland, she puts it this way. All dollars are tax deferred, which means that for every $1 you save today, you will only have about 63 to 88 cents based on your tax bracket. For our higher income earners, this is an even more serious issue. They are in the higher tax bracket. $1 million balance isn't really $1 million for you to spend in retirement. In fact, whether it's 50,000, 100,000, 200,000, it's not that amount. You see that much. You see money go in and out during market losses and things of that nature. It's just a balance, but it's not spendable. And what we try to do is we try to help you get to the point where you can get more spendable money. The next enemy that we're going to talk about here is fees. Now, the effective excuse me, please. Now, the effective administrative fees on 401ks and associated mutual funds, they can be severe. These costs can basically swallow more than half of an individual's savings. Now, a 401k typically has more than a dozen fees that are undisclosed. At one point, a few years back, there was a point where all the fees were undisclosed, but they got their hands slapped and they had to start disclosing the fees. Now, these fees are like trustee fees, bookkeeping fees, finder's fees, and legal fees. And that's a lot of things that are pulling away at your money that you went to work for, that you decided to save for. And in addition to these different fund fees, you have mutual fund fees within the 401k, which often take about 2% of fee right off the top. Now, the 2% fee taken off the top cuts your return exponentially. By the time you retire, a mutual fund, listen to this, I need you to get this. This is something that you may want to write down. By the time you retire, a mutual fund may have taken up to 2/3 of your gains. Hey, don't take my word for it. Do the research. Go on YouTube and you'll see a lot of videos. There were some, Time Magazine did an article on it. 60 Minutes did an expose on it. You just see that all these forensic studies were done. These mutual funds have drastically reduced what could have been your 401k, the gain on it. Drastically. Now I'm gonna tell you, the match that the company does for you, that's good because that's free money. But without the match, I'm gonna tell you there are much better options that you may save in. Such as low-cost index funds, which we talk about all the time, different products. So if you're still in the accumulation phase, you want to talk about those programs, we can talk to you about that because I want you to understand something. When we talk about compound interest, there's only two places where you get compound interest. Two places. That's in insurance and CDs. Those are only two places. And what we offer give you greater interest in the products that we talk about. Okay, so now the next thing we want to talk about, enemy number 3, is lack of liquidity. Now, oh boy, here's the thing. Okay, I love the 401k and that they offer it, but there's some things about it that's kind of crazy. See, the money that goes into a 401k is essentially locked in a safe that can only be opened when you reach a certain age or when you have a qualified exception such as medical expenses or a permanent disability. Now, otherwise, if you try to take that money out, you're going to suffer some penalties and taxes of an early withdrawal. In short, your 401k fund lacks liquidity. You need to understand, when a person is putting their money to a 401k, they need to understand that this is not an emergency fund, or it's not an account that you can plan to use to make major purchases unless it's like a house or something like that. Now, if you access the money, it is a very expensive withdrawal, according to Therese Nicholas, who is a CFP with Wealth Coach for Women in Massachusetts. She says if you withdraw funds prior to age 59 and a half, you potentially will incur a 10% penalty on the amount of the withdrawal. All withdrawals from tax-deferred retirement accounts are taxable events at your current tax bracket. Once again, at your current tax bracket. Now, depending on the amount of the withdrawal, you could bump yourself to a higher tax bracket, adding to the cost of that withdrawal. So once again, one of the enemies, lack of liquidity. We've already talked about taxes, we talked about fees, we talked about lack of liquidity, and one that really bothers me the most is market risk. The market risk, because here you are with enemy number 4, you're working hard every day, and you have money going into your 401k, you have your employer matching, that money is in the stock market, you're going to get all of the gains that the stock market gives you, and you're going to receive all the losses that the market is going to give you. Now, there's some principles about losing money that you got to understand. I hear this time and time again from friends and people out there, things that I read. The stockbrokers, they'll tell you, listen, don't pull your money out. You'll get your money back. It'll come back. I'm going to tell you that is not the truth. When you lose something, you lose something. Now, you may get money back, but you never get back the money that you lost. That money is gone. You can forget about it. Now, there was a study done by the Wharton School of Business in University of Pennsylvania, and what they did is they did a comparison between the stock market, your money in the stock market directly, and indexing, which means here's what indexing basically. I'm just going to just tell you plain as I can. What indexing does, it puts a floor, which means it eliminates all of the losses that you will have, and it will put a cap or ceiling on the gains that you will have. In exchange for them taking the losses away from you, what they do is they will take anything above that cap. So there's a transfer. They're transferring the risk from you to them in order to get the gains above the cap. Quite simple. So with indexing, that's what indexing does. With indexing, according to the Wharton School of Business, it outperformed your money directly in the stock market, where you're getting all the gains and all of the losses. Why? Because if you take loss out of the equation, zero becomes your hero. Because remember, as you lose, you got to dig out the hole. And as you're down at the bottom of the hole, the person that didn't have any loss, they're still at the top. So they can just start climbing. But you still have to dig out of the hole if you had any losses. So losing money is not an option. So retirement coming soon. What should you do with your 401k? Many people at this juncture, they're feeling lost, they're feeling confused, they're feeling unsure, they don't know what to do, they don't know who to talk to, they don't know who to trust, they don't know who to read, they don't know, there's a lot of uncertainties. And what we like to do is we try to help remove some of those uncertainties. And what we try to do is, as well as we try to give you certain tools that you would need and help to remove it. And here's the thing. We want you to stay and listen to the remainder of this presentation. And if you stay to the end, here's our promise to you. We're going to send you this free book called Retirement Rescue. Successful retirement planning begins here. We know that you're going to be journeying into a point of your life that you've never been before, and that's retirement, and that you're going to only get a certain percentage of your income, whether that you're used to receiving, whether it's 80%, 70%, 100%, but that income is going to be more than likely is going to be fixed. And that's kind of scary when you stop to think about it. So the thing about it is that we want to give you all the angles that you need to think about so that you can be well equipped in order to handle your retirement properly. So we'll give you this book if you just hang in here with us just a little bit longer. Just want to introduce ourselves to you. We're retirement preservation experts. My name is Carlos Millsap, and my partner, co-founder, is Brad Stewart with Spartex Retirement Team. I'm the good-looking brother on the left side of your screen, and Brad is the gentleman on the right side. Now, here's why we call Spartex. Just a quick little story. I played college football at San Jose State University, and we were called the Spartans. I played for Jack Elway, John Elway's dad, and Brad played at San Diego State, who were the Aztecs. Hence, we have Spartex. Now, here's one of the things that we have common. There's a little age difference, not much, but Brad, while he was at San Diego State, played for a coach named Claude Gilbert. Claude Gilbert later left and moved on to San Jose State, where I played for Claude Gilbert later on in life, a few years later. So we have that in common. But we're also both family men, wife, kids. Brad has grandkids. We have a lot of things in common. But what we have most in common is that we like helping people. We have well over 50 years of service-oriented service to people, to help them with their finances, help them to map things out. We care about you. We want to be able to help you go through this maze so that you'll come out and have your money last forever. That's why we're called retirement preservation experts. That's all we do. We try to find out the best way to help you preserve your money. Now, as a bonus, we also are certificate holders for the National Social Security Advisors. So we are certificate holders for the National Social Security Advisors, which means that we know how to help you maximize your Social Security income as well. So, you know, we bring a lot of wealth to the table. Now, here's the thing. Brad and I, we don't profess to know everything. We know a lot. We've seen a lot. But thank goodness we have a big team of people behind us that if we can't get the answers, if we don't know the answers, we will get the answers, okay? So rest assured that we have your best interest in mind. So what can save your 401k from these enemies? There's your money floating out, and we need to rescue it. So enemy number one, taxes. What can actually take care of that? Annuities, okay? Fixed index annuities. That's what Brad and I help people with. Now, I want to make sure that I say this right off the bat, because a lot of times people have a misconception about annuities. We're not talking about the old annuities. Back then we didn't like the annuities. There's also people talk about variable annuities. Brad and I have never put anybody in a variable annuity. Brad and I will never put anyone in a variable annuity. Not only because it's a bad product, is because we don't even have the license to do it. So we would never put someone in that particular product. What we do is we do fixed index annuities. Now, annuities, they help fight this enemy with tax deferral, because you can put your money into the annuity, and you may not need the money, you may not need the income right away. So as long as that money is in there and accruing interest, you can defer the taxes. It's plain and simple. Now we have another strategy, and if you're starting to need income, but you want to lower your income taxes, we can do what's called a split annuity, which basically help you with your income tax savings. So we use two different annuities to do that. We'll use a immediate income annuity, which starts your income immediately, and then we have a deferred annuity, which actually defers your compensation, or defers your access to the money to sometime down the road. So we can do things to help you to minimize your taxes. Enemy number two is fees. Okay, now as we talked before, the 401k, it becomes more expensive the bigger they become. Okay, remember the seed and the harvest. 2% on $1,000 accumulated versus 2% on 100,000, 500,000. So the fees become more expensive. And now I want to make sure you understand this, is that the fees on the 401ks do not stop just because you retired. The fees continue even when you retire, because that money is under management. They're managing your funds for you. Okay, so fees can range from 1% to 3.25%, anywhere in between, sometimes even more. Depends on the fund manager. So just an example, if you have 500,000, 2% will cost you $10,000 in fees every year. That's every year that money just sits there. And we're not talking about all the other things that could hit your account. So that 10,000, 10 years, that's $100,000 in fees. That's a fifth of all of your money. Is that crazy, or is that crazy? I think it's crazy. So now here's the thing. Some annuities offer zero fees, and some have a 0.95% fee, somewhere around that, for what's called an income rider. So a lot of my clients, that are deferring their compensation for down the road, they actually can get a bonus. So when they put their money in, they'll see their bonus plus, they'll see their money that went in plus a bonus. And then you have some that decide that they want an income rider because they want to have guaranteed income for life. That's right. You can actually put your money into an annuity, and we can tell you what your income is going to be, and we can tell you what your income is going to be for life. And in fact, if you have a spouse, we can do a joint annuitant, have a joint annuitant, and when one spouse passes, the other spouse will get the income for the rest of their life as well. So we try to set up things where it's going to last a lifetime. So we can deal with fees. So now let's talk about lack of liquidity. So we already know with the 401k, your money's locked up. You have to get approval to get a loan from your 401k. I think that's ridiculous. It's your money, but because of the federal government and the different rules and regulations, you have to get a loan. You have to get approval to get a loan for your money, and it has to be certain circumstances that have to exist in order for you to get that money. In fact, a good friend of mine, his wife had cancer. It wasn't life-threatening, but she had cancer where she could not work for a while, and she had to go through chemo and all that stuff. And she asked for a loan, and she was denied. Wow. Yeah, I'm sorry I had to pause for that, because every time I think about it, it just kind of blows me away that, here you are in a situation where you know you're going to need money because you can't work because you're sick, and you can't have access to your money. That is crazy. I know this is may not be news to you, but the 401k lacks liquidity. But with the annuity, you can get up to 10% free withdrawal annually from your annuity. That's right. In most cases, it's after a year. I just had a client just recently call me that had some money, and it's actually been less than a year, and because of a lot of things that's going on in their life, they needed access to their money, and it was a good thing for me to be able to tell them that they could get $65,000 out just like that. Man, I tell you, with this, if emergencies come up, you have access to at least 10% of that money. Okay? Now, keep in mind, we are trying to help you to let that money sit there to grow so that you have greater income down the road, but it's there in case you need it. Now, the fourth one, the market loss. See, now your 401k, your funds are still subject to loss in the market. It's still there. If you aren't working and you're retiring, why would you want that money to stay in the market? Because if the market lose 30-40%, you done lost 30-40% of the balance that you had in your 401k, which means that your income is going to go down. Okay, so you have no way of really replacing that. So it's time to take that money out there. As I said, the 401k is not good for retirement. Now, I've always said this too, is that do you ever get your money back when you lose? No, you don't. I'm going to give you the simplest illustration that I can think of. Okay, you ready for this? All right, I'm ready. All right, here we go. So let's say you had two crisp, brand new $100 bills in your pocket. You see them? You feel it? Put your hands in your pocket. Okay, now, something happens, you pull your hand out, and one of the $100 bills fell out your pocket silently to the ground. You weren't aware of it. You get to your next destination, you reach your hand in your pocket, you pull out the $100 bill. It's only one. Now you only have $100, so you lost the other $100 bill. Something happens, somehow you get another $100. Now you have $200, but it wasn't the $100 that you lost. Now you have $200. Did you get your money back? Okay, I hear some people saying yes, I hear some people saying no, even though, but here's the thing, you don't get your money back. See, here's the thing, think about this, and this is what stockbrokers want you to say. Yes, stockbrokers are saying, yes, you got your money back, and they're going thumbs up, because they were getting fees the whole time. They're getting paid the whole time because you didn't pull your money out. But the truth of the matter is that if you lost 100, you found 100, you have $200. But if you had never lost $100, you would have $300. $100. Eye-opening, right? So 0 is your hero. You never want to lose. In fact, Warren Buffett, we all know who he is, has 2 rules for investing. Rule number 1, never lose money. Rule number 2, always remember rule number 1, don't lose money. It's just that simple. If you don't lose money and you're always gaining, you're going to stay ahead. And what we want you to know is that when it comes to the annuity, your money is not in the market with an annuity. It's not. So you can't lose. You're just not going to lose when it comes to your money being in the stock market. Being in an annuity. And so that's one of the things that we want to make sure that we understand is that, 0 has to be your hero, because when it comes to just plain and simple, keeping things simple, you don't want to ever get to a point where you just kind of losing money in the 401k. So now we're going to actually turn our attention here for a second. We're going to go into some question and answers. I want to cover some questions that we have basically been asked before in regards to 401k and also in regards to annuities, especially. Just want to kind of give you an idea of what people are asking us, because you also may have questions, and we want to make sure that you actually write down your questions that you have in regards to the 401k, and what question that you have in regards to the annuity, especially the fixed index annuity. Now, I do want to say this. Brad nor myself, neither one of us are security licensed, so therefore we can't give you any advice in regards to your 401k. What we can do is we can give you our opinion. We can give you our opinion in regards to the 401k, but we can't give you any advice. Let me put it that way. Okay, so give me a second here. Let me go ahead and pull up these questions that we have as in regards to the 401k. Excuse me, I keep on saying 401k. So all you guys know that I am human, because I do make mistakes, but I don't make mistakes when it comes to taking care of you and your money. Okay, I'm almost there. We're going to have it here in just a second. But anyway, I'm sure that I hope that this presentation was good for you. One of the questions here is, I have my money in a 401k. Will I have to pay taxes? Excuse me, I'm trying to read this. Will I have to pay taxes if I put my money in an annuity? Answer is no. Okay. The reason being is that your money inside of a 401k is in a qualified plan, and we can take your money that's inside of a 401k and we can actually put it into a like product. So since it's going from one like product or a similar product to a similar product, it's not a taxable event. So no, you will not have to pay any taxes on it. Another question is annuity. What is an annuity? Annuity, in the simplest way I can explain it to you, is that an annuity is a contract between you and the insurance company. Okay, that's just basic as it can be. It's actually a contract between you and the insurance company in exchange for benefits. Now, I think this is a pretty good question. A person wanted to know, is their money guaranteed? I know that's a good question. So with the fixed index annuity, your money is deposited, or the premium's deposited, and you get all the contract provisions, and they're all guaranteed by whichever company you decide to go with. Now, for this reason, what we do is we make sure that we work with companies with great ratings and with great stability, because that's who's really giving the guarantee. Okay, now somebody here wrote down, what is an income rider? An income rider, and this is very good point that you want to know, is an income rider is an optional benefit that can be added to an index annuity contract, usually for a fee. It's designed to help generate a higher level of guaranteed lifetime income at a future date, regardless of the performance of underlying accounts, which is basically good to know. Okay, so now there's a whole bunch of questions. I don't want to go through all of them. I've taken up a lot of your time, but I appreciate you being here, and I just wanted to let you know, here's what we've covered so far. Is that we have enemies, 4 enemies. You have 4 enemies to your 401k. Enemy number 1 is taxes. Number 2 is fees. Number 3 is lack of liquidity. Number 4 is market loss. So we can actually help you develop a strategy to preserve what you've saved. Okay, we help people do that, so it will be there when you need it the most. Okay, so we want to have that opportunity to help you. So at the end of this webinar, you have the opportunity to go ahead and sign up for the webinar. Sign up for a free strategy session, okay, with myself or with Brad. And what we'll do is, it's no obligation. We're not going to tell you. Matter of fact, we tell you don't even open up your checkbook, because we never get a penny from you. You will never write us a check. No money will ever come out of your account to pay us. We're out here looking for people that we can help take to these insurance companies and get good contracts with guaranteed money. So all we want to do is at this time is meet with you and have an opportunity to talk to you about your retirement and what your plans are. Okay, so as promised, since you made it to this point, we're going to send you a short book called Retirement Rescue. The book I was telling you about. This will help you to basically map out your retirement plans. And as I said, we're offering you a free strategy session where we can answer your retirement questions, and as a bonus, we can help you with maximizing your Social Security income. Because that's what we do. We are certificate holders with the National Social Security Advisors, so we're qualified to help you with maximizing your Social Security income. There's a lot of questions there, and we want you to rest assured that you will not pay a single penny to meet with us or do business with us if you decide to do so. We are paid by the companies that we do business with. So once again, at the end of this video, this webinar, you have an opportunity to set up a free appointment within our calendar. You can go in there, you tap the button, it'll take you to our calendar. You can go ahead and select the date and time. You'll get an email reminder, and you'll actually receive a link via Zoom to meet with us. Okay. Once again, my name is Carlos Millsap, my partner Brad Stewart. We are Spartex retirement team, and we look forward to talking to you soon. Take care.